Assalamu alaikum and welcome to you once again in microeconomic course. In this lecture, I will be discussing with you about the topic, the supply. Uh, First of all, we will discuss about the supply, that what supply is. Supply is the amount of good or service which sailors are willing and able to supply at given prices in a given time period. It is the amount of product, you can say the commodity, or you can say the good or service, sailors, you can say the producers, are able and willing to sell or supply in the market at given time period at given prices, at given prices and in a given time period. So the supply is the amount of any good or service or product or commodity which sellers, producers are willing and able to produce and able to supply in the market at given prices in a given time period. So first of all, what is the meaning of this? The sellers mean those who are producing the goods. They are producing the goods for resale purpose or for selling purposes. Means the producers who are the manufacturers of the goods or the providers of the goods or even the services. Able means this is the ability of the firm. The firm must have the ability to produce. Even they cannot only claim that what they want to sell a particular product. A firm is willing to supply the laptops or any kind of the iPhones, but they have to check that whether they possess the resources, skills, abilities. Then one can say, I can say that if suppose I am saying that I am going to start from tomorrow I will teach the medical courses. So first I must have to check my ability, that whether I possess the ability to teach the medical courses or not. So the firm must have the ability to claim that the firms are willing and able to sell, means they must have the ability, they must be willing, or willingness, they must have the willingness, they are ready to sell whatever they have produced. If a farmer has produced the wheat, now it's not necessary that whatever the farmer has produced will be sold in the market. Most of the times people keep the wheat for their personal usage, for their own food purposes. So the person must be willing, means ready. They are ready to sell. They want to sell. Sale means selling, बेचना जिसको कहते हैं. Supply in the market. Market is a place where buying and selling takes place, and in a given time period. But before talking about the given time period, at given prices. Given price means when price is 500 rupees per kg, How much of a product firms are selling? Suppose 10 kgs, quantity supplied. When price is 550, how much firm is this? Suppose I say that 12 kgs. When price is 570, how much a firm is willing to supply? So these are the different prices. 8 different prices. When we are using the term 8 different prices, it means we are talking about the given price at that. How much a firm is willing to sell when price is this one? How much a firm is willing to supply when the price is this one, and these are the quantities. And in a given time period. Given time period is also attached with the definition of the supply, or even in the demand, the time must be mentioned that when the price 500, when means at what time? If I say, suppose if today the price of mangoes is 500, I am willing and ready to supply 10 kgs. If price is 550, I will be able and willing to have supply 12 kgs and so on. So this is called the supply. The supply means it is the amount of the good or service people or the producers they are willing and able to supply in the market. And then, what is the law of supply? Law of supply states that when price of anything, just suppose X is the product, we are talking about the X. When the price of X increases, we are using suppose this arrow for the increased purpose. When the price of X increases, the result will be the outcome of this increase in the price of X, that the quantity supplied of X will also increase. The result will be that the quantity supplied of S will also increase. But this will only increase when there is a ceteris paribus. The term ceteris paribus is a Latin word which means all else will remain constant. It means only the price changes. The factors which can affect the supply are the quantity supplied of X is depending on the price of X, the input price of X, the things which we use to produce X, the price of those inputs, and technology used to produce X, the technology which we are using to produce the X, and number of firms producing X, how many firms producing the X can also affect future expectations regarding the price, of X, that what will be the future price of the X, and one can also aid the weather conditions, which might have the effect on the production of X, and also the price of related goods, even the interest of the firm, or even the subsidies. सब्सिडी जिसको हम उर्दू में कह सकते हैं कि रियायत दी जाती है, सरकार की तरफ से किसी किस्म की रियायत या फैसिलिटी दी जाती है प्रोड्यूसर्स को, इवन बायर्स को भी दी जाती है, लेकिन हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सप्लाई, सो सब्सिडीज given to the producers. So when we are talking about this law, it means we are saying that only these factors, that when the price of X increases, how much quantity supplied of X someone is willing and able to buy. That when price, so law of supply states that when the price of X increases, the result will be the quantity supplied of X will also increase, but ceteris paribus should be there. So when we say this is the function of the supply, that supply of X is depending on the price of X, the input price inputs which are used in the production of the X, the prices of the inputs which we are using or which can be used in the production of the X, the technology used to produce the X's, whether it's if there is a improved technology or the technology is just worsening, number of the firms producing the X, future price expectations regarding the future price of the X, weather conditions which may have an effect on the production of the X, price of related goods other than the X, subsidies given to the producers of the X. So this is simply, we can say, that supply, law of supply states that when price of anything increases, the quantity demanded of that thing will also increase. And ceteris paribus means everything else remains constant. Whenever the price of anything increases, the quantity supplied of that thing will also increase, and vice versa. It means when price of anything, one can say the X here in our example, increases, the quantity supplied of that thing will also increases, ceteris paribus. Means all else remains same. Whenever the price of X increases, the quantity supplied of that thing or quantity supplied of X will also increase. Or one can say vice versa. Or when price of X falls, the quantity supplied of X will also fall, ceteris paribus. So this is called law of supply. In simple terms, we can say that when price of X increases, quantity supplied of X will also increase, ceteris paribus. And when we say that price of X falls, the result will be the quantity supplied of X will also false. Ceteris paribus. So this is the law of supply, and the factors which we have discussed are these factors other than the supply, or the input prices, the technology, the number of the sellers or the producers, and another item which is the future prices or the expected prices of the product, weather conditions, even the subsidies. So before discussing the factors which can affect the supply, here I am going to discuss with you the supply schedule. Or we can say it is the supply schedule, which is a table and which shows the relationship between the prices and the quantities supplied. But you can say that serial number, price per item in rupees or in dollars or yuan or in any currency, and the quantity supplied in numbers or in kgs or in liters, whatever the type of the product we are discussing. So when suppose we see CLs, we are just simply giving the letters. When price is 10, 20 items purchased or sold. B, when price is 12, then 25 items sold in the market. C, when price is 14, 30 items sold in the market. And when price is 16, one can say 35 items sold in the market. And when price is 18, we can say the 40 is the quantity supplied. So these are the serial numbers or the names given to the points A, B, C, D, E. These are the different prices which we have discussed in the definition of the supply, that at given prices, these are the given prices. This one is the one price, this is another price, this is another price, this is this one and this one. And these are the quantities. This one is the separate quantity, this one is the separate quantity, this one is also the separate quantity, this one is also the separate quantity, this one is also the separate quantity. So this table or schedule is also showing explaining the law of supply, that when price is increasing, the quantity supply is also increasing. The reason that why people are supplying more when price increases, why the sellers they are selling more? Because by selling more they can earn more. Because of the incentive to earn more profits, they are selling more. So we can use this same data to draw a graph. Vertically, we can write here the prices. We have to write here the prices. Horizontally, we have to mention, we are mentioning here the quantities supplied. This one is a 0. Price per item, whatever the type of the product. Quantities supplied or total supply. These are the quantities, these are the prices. And the first, and we can say that 5, 10, prices and these are the quantities supplied. So when the price is 10, we can say where is the price 10, this one. How much is the quantity supplied? 20. And the name is A. This is point A. When price is 12, 25 is the quantity. Where is the price? This one. Where is the 25? This one. And this is the B. And C, when price is 14, 30 is the quantity supplied. At D, 16 is the price and 35 is the quantity. And at 18, 40 is the quantity. 35. At 16, the 35. And at this one is the 40. 30, 35 and 40. So when we connect, this one is the C, this one is the D, this one is the E. So this becomes the supply curve. So through this way we draw the graphs. When we have the data, then we can prepare any kind of the table, but must consider in the mind the concept of the law that when we are increasing the price, we must have to increase the quantities. And this graph is suggesting the relationship between the prices and the quantities supplied. So when there is a change in the price from A to B, there is a change in the quantity from A to B. We are moving on the same line. This is called the movement. So due to the change in the price, there is a movement occurs in the supply curve. And now, if you want to explain or if you want to write the definition of this one, the graph, supply curve is a graph which shows the relationship between the prices and the quantities supplied on the graph paper. And this is the type of the picture which is showing the relationship. The same relationship is mentioned here. And now, to explain the concept of the ceteris paribus, that the factors affecting the supply. What are the factors affecting the supply? Now, we have discussed that there are various factors they are affecting the supply, other than the price. If the price changes, there is a movement in the supply curve. You can simply draw the graph. If we say, suppose this one is the supply curve, these are the quantities and prices. Let's suppose quantities supplied and numbers in kgs, in liters, in the liters, depending on the type of the product. Price per item. In rupees or in dollars or in pounds or in euros. So if the price is P1, this is the quantity Q1. If the price is P2, this is the quantity Q2. If the price is P3, this is the quantity Q3. If the price is P4, this is the quantity Q4. Now, when we have the ceteris paribus, we have such kind of the graph. That when price of anything changes, the quantity supplied will increases or changes. Now we say that what are the factors causing shift? Factors causing shift in supply curve. There is a change in supply. These factors we also call them the determinants of supply. This is the price and these are the quantities. Now we say there is no ceteris paribus. Now we are allowing, suppose, input prices to increase. Then input price increase. Input is the raw material or the things which we are using to produce anything. To produce these markers, we have used the plastic, the color, the ink, the machine building where we have the factory or where we have to produce these pens, even the labor which produces these pens. So when input price increases, means the things which we are using to produce these pens become costly. When such kind of the change occurs in the ceteris paribus, it means now people or the sellers, they are willing to supply less at all available prices. You can see that they are now willing to supply less at all available prices. So there will be inward shift. This one is the supply curve 0. So this one is the supply curve 1. There will be inward shift. When there is an inward shift, it means there is a reduction in the supply. People or the producers, they are now willing to supply less because now the things which we are producing, their production cost increased. And then it's not necessary that always input price is increased. Suppose when input price falls, it means it's very cheaply to produce these pens now. The cost of production decreased. Previously the cost of production was just suppose 10, now cost of production is 8. It encourages me to produce more, and by producing more, remember the price is not changing, only the cost is changing. So now things become very cheap to produce. So when there is a shift, when there is a fall in the input prices, when input prices fall, there is an outward shift in the supply curve. It means supply increases. When there is an inward shift, there is means supply decrease. And when there is an outward shift, supply will increase. Entire supply will increase. So this is the way that how the factors are affecting. Even we can talk about, you can discuss another item, technology. Technology means the methods of production. Methods of production means these are the techniques which we use to produce anything. If the technology becomes new, if we have the latest technology available, means now you can produce better items and with a lower cost because of the improved technology. So when technology improves, there will be outward shift in the supply curve. Means now you can produce more and also cheaply. So by producing more, you can sell more. Remember, price is not changing, only supply is changing because of the improved technology. Usually technology is always improved. There is no case of outdated technology. But sometimes technologies become outdated. When techniques becomes outdated, it means the cost of production increases, then there will be inward shift in the supply. Another factor which is affecting the supply, which is causing the shift in the supply in either direction, is number of producers. If the number of producers increase, Upward arrow is suggesting increase and downward arrow is suggesting fall. And instead of writing the whole word, I am simply using these arrows. When the number of producers increase, it means now more will be produced. Because previously there was only whatever the number was there of the producers, and what suppose 8 to 10 all firms were producing 100 items. Now what if we have one more firm and this one is just suppose producing 5 items? So 8 price 20, previously 100 was the supply, but now 8 price 20 due to the addition of the new producers. Now we have 105 supply. So when number of firms increase, there will be outward shift in the supply curve. When number of firms increases, there will be outward shift in the supply curve, and the vice versa. When the number of the producers falls, number of producers decreased go. जब number of producers कम हो, उनमें कमी आए. Just suppose we say, suppose previously 10 firms were producing the 100 items at 20 rupee price. Now we have dropped one. Now we have 9 firms. So we can say suppose 95 will be available in the market. So when there is a fall in the number of the producers, there will be inward shift in the supply curve. And another factor which is affecting the supply is the taxes. Government taxes. Tax is the type of the charge, any kind of the charge which is imposed by the government on the income of the people. In case of the supply, the tax is imposed on the producers or on the income of the producers. When government increases the taxes, it means from the income people have to pay more to the government. So when I know that I have to pay more to the government, it discourages me to produce more, because by producing more, I have to pay more to the government, so I will not produce more. And means this is the case with the supply, that when taxes increase, it discourages the producers to produce more, so the increase of the tax will shift the supply curve towards the inward direction. So there will be inward shift in the supply curve, and the vice versa. When taxes fall, it means people have to pay less to the government, and there will be outward shift in the supply. And future expectations of the prices. If the future expectations are suggesting that tomorrow price will fall, if someone is suggesting to you, if the forecasters are suggesting that tomorrow price will fall, then what will be the impact of this fall in the price in future on today's supply? That supply of the same product will increase. People supply more. They supply more because they know that tomorrow the prices will fall, so that's why they rush to sell more at all available prices, and this will shift the supply curve towards the rightward direction or towards the outward direction, and means supply increases, and the vice versa. When there is expectation that tomorrow prices will rise, so when people know that tomorrow the prices will rise, so they will wait for tomorrow, they will start selling more today, or there will be inward shift in the supply curve. People supply less today because they will wait in anticipation that prices will rise. Even the price of related items. If a firm which is producing the shampoos or the soaps, if we are talking about this is the supply curve of the soap, if the price of the shampoo increases, the firm has the capability, if we understand that firm has the capability to divert or to convert its resources to produce the shampoos, and if the shampoo is related with the soap, so when the price of the shampoo increases, there will be inward shift in the supply of the soap. Firms supply less soaps because they have started or they will start producing more of the shampoos, and the vice versa. When the price of the related items falls, there will be outward shift in the supply curve. So this is simply the introduction of the supply and the law of supply and other items and the factors affecting the supply. In today's lecture, I have tried to explain that what is the supply. Supply means it is the amount of anything, good or commodity or product or goods or services which firms are able, they must possess the ability and willing, they must have the willingness, means they want to sell the amount of the good or service at available prices, means at given prices. Given prices means there are different types of the prices, different options. Suppose, what if the price is A? How much firms will say? What if the price instead of A, price is B? How much firm will say? What if the price is C instead of the B or A? How much firm will say? And in a market at a given time period or in a given time period, it means in a week or in a day or in a year. So this is the supply. तो आज हमने कोशिश की कि जो माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स की टॉपिक है, सप्लाई मीन्स बेचने वालों के मुताबिक जो चीज़ें बनाते हैं उन पे कीमतें या कौन से फैक्टर्स असरअंदाज होते हैं। तो हमने देखा कि सप्लाई वो होती है कि जो भी कोई चीज़ कोई भी प्रोड्यूस करने वाला, बनाने वाला मार्केट में बेचने की ख्वाहिश भी रखता हो और उसको सलाहियत भी हो, वो कितनी वो सेल करेगा जब कीमतें मुख्तलिफ हों और जब टाइम दिया गया हो। तो उम्मीद है आप लोगों को समझ में कुछ चीज़ें आई होंगी। इफ़ यू हैवंट अंडरस्टूड, you can ask me questions by sending me the messages on my email address, or you can also mention the comments on the YouTube channel. And in coming classes, I will be discussing with you the other topics of the microeconomics. So thank you very much for watching.